y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to yet another super salty, super opinionated, super hyperbolic video. Today, as the holidays have come to a close, as such, holiday merchandise that did not sell because it's redundant, stupid, over heavily packaged and over shilled has gone on sale. Now, if y'all have heard me say it once, y'all have heard me say it a million times, Sephora, Ulta, and makeup companies in general, they don't want you to save money. They don't want makeup to go on sale because when does makeup go on sale? Just about never. However, when there is an influx of products that just don't cut it, what do we gotta do to make some of our money back? We gotta slash those prices and we gotta beg and plead with the consumer to purchase these things so we can move the merchandise, taking space in the warehouse. So as such, today we are going to be roasting the sales section again. Now, I will preface this with saying I am not responsible for items no longer being in the sales section as of talking about them or anything like that. I take screenshots and I have them and I film, and should something have returned to original price amidst that process, it ain't my fault. Also, if I talk about something that y'all absolutely love, that is fantastic. Yeah, girl has purchased a plethora of makeup on the clearance rack, some being great, some being not so much, so just keep that in mind that this is kind of just it's a comedic take on, you know, consumerism failing. So do take that with what you will, but let's get on into the roasting of the sales section. I believe the third installment. I will leave my other ones down below if you have not seen those. Okay, first, there is an old lady who I absolutely love, Bawdy Winkle. She is an absolutely fantastic role model for those of you who live alternatively, and may not be sure whether, you know, it's okay to be alternative into your old age. This lady is very in your face. She's fantastic. She wears whatever the frig she wants, and she had a collection with Sephora, one item of which being the butt mask. Yes, you all heard me right. In the same vein as the Brazilian bum cream from Sol de Janeiro, they released a butt sheet mask. Now, as someone who fairly takes exercising seriously, and as someone who is somewhat of a consumer and knowledgeable in the skin care department, I guess that's what this would be. This is the gimmick of all gimmicks. You ain't gonna get no shortcut to making your butt look better, making it less whatever. And I mean, it's funny, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, it's very, I would say, on brand with who they're collaborating with, but I feel it's no surprise that this has been clearanced out because people, I assume, would be purchasing it for the novelty, not necessarily thinking that it's going to do anything phenomenal for said derriere. Or maybe it does amazing things. That is not an area that I have any sort of expertise in, but in my experience, if you want your butt to look better, go walk a mile every day, then I always love it. Obviously, we're gonna have a lot of holiday releases in here, and I'm always vindicated whenever I talk about this stuff in an anti-haul, and then it goes on sale. I'm like, boo, you were right all along. One of which being the big old Tarte Whateverness holiday palette. Now, I believe this has relatively good ratings on Sephora, so yay for them. But as with holiday palettes and as with makeup released during the holidays, they release too much, they order too many units because they're like, all the people are gonna buy it, because in the past, all the people are gonna buy it. But the consumer has become a little bit smarter, and we look at these things. I mean, this is the palette that I think was like, it was like $54 or something like that, and they were like $128 value, and I'm like, Tarte, how are you even able to gauge that price point? When have you ever had a palette that was $128? So nothing merits this palette. If it was worth $128, don't you think they would have sold it for that instead of being like, all right, let's discount this value product for even less than what we said it was like worth and pretend it's all that jazz when in reality it's just going to be a bunch of shades that we've all done before. The formula is going to be subpar because it's a holiday palette. We are mass producing this thing and aren't really giving any thought to the formula other than let's put it out there and shill it. So for me, this is no surprise that this is in the sale section for, I would say, quality as well as, once again, you release holiday products, they're there for a little bit, they're limited edition, and then the holidays come and go and we've got too much product left over because we get way ahead of ourselves. And in order to make something back, we got to put that stuff on sale. I will say, you know, don't go into it. Don't buy the holiday shiz that's on sale, because when it comes to makeup, things go on sale for a reason. Typically because they're not selling well and they're not the best quality. If you even take into consideration Jeffree Star's mystery boxes, 9 times out of 10, a lot of what is included in there are shades that don't sell well. So we've got to figure out how to get it out. Then, speaking of getting it out, holiday sets. I did talk about this in my holiday hell nah anti-haul because y'all know for the majority, your girl is not a fan of big, ginormous sets, whether it be all of one thing or all of whatever, you know, that kind of thing. But just for a few examples, we've got the Becca lipstick trio, the Tarte, those like lip ornaments that are cute but aren't necessarily very, you know, they're obviously made with the holidays in mind, the Too Faced mascara ornament, mascara sets, you know, all these things that already exist that are put and bundled and created into these little holiday gift sets with holiday packaging. There's snowflakes, there's bright, there's all kinds of whatever. I'd love to see me a Hanukkah holiday set. I'd buy the shiz out of that just because. I mean, couldn't you imagine? That would be so cute. You'd have the packaging as like a little menorah and then like each of the lights could be a little something. That'd be, someone put me on their makeup marketing team and I will create some Hanukkah holiday sets. But it's like you've got, I mean, come on. I talked about it in the thing. You know, sets are kind of okay for, you know, gifting, and I understand there is a majority of people out there who want to try things. You know, the thing is in there. But I feel it's just like, take the money that you would have spent on the set and put that $20, $40, $35, even $45 towards something you would really enjoy. Something you would, you know, if we're gonna do a holiday purchasing for yourself, doing that whole like treat yourself thing, treat yourself to a single item rather than treating yourself to a bunch of little things that you may or may not end up liking, and treat yourself to something that is more viable for being returnable. I mean, there's just all these different little things that are just like I said, this pointless holiday consumerism packaging that I feel as the years go on, at least in the time I've been on this platform, we're buying less and less of them, and we're starting to notice, we're starting to realize that things that are done like this, the quality is inferior. You know, it is a cash grab. It is banking on the consumerism of the holidays. And then another thing that I roasted, I believe last year, it's still there, the Fenty Beauty Holiday Highlighter Palette. Now, initially, I was very tempted by this. I was like, Fenty Beauty, I like that formula. You got a whole palette of it. But looking at it, obviously, as I am pasty going on, a bunch of them colors ain't gonna work for me. And then you get, well, you can use it as an eyeshadow. I got eyeshadow palettes. I got so many eyeshadow palettes. I don't need a hybrid highlighter eyeshadow palette where I'm not going to be sure where it's going to live in my collection. I mean, y'all, this thing has been sitting there since last year. You know, makeup usually has a year, 12-month shelf life. I know Lauren May Beauty has talked about this. It's like, how long is this stuff gonna sit here until we finally decide, well, we've had this in the warehouse for 4 years, maybe we should send it to the incinerator now? And I'm like I said, I roasted it. I was like, when I anti-hauled it, I was like, this shit's gonna go on sale. It went on sale, and now it's still on sale. For all the people who were gonna buy it when it went on sale, they bought it already. They have it. Let it go. Take it outside and shoot it. Okay, this one was from Ulta, and I just mentioned this because y'all know I hate these type of things. The all-in-one kits where you've got the eyeshadow, the blush, the lipstick, the whatever, and this is one from Ulta, and you know, and there's that whole, you know, will we buy it for younger and whatever. There's plenty of affordable makeup that's gonna be better quality than this set. You know, go out and buy that. You know, get you some Wet n Wild, some Flower Beauty, Milani, Juvia's Place, ColourPop. We have got affordable options where we don't need to be buying these all-in-one sets. Make your own all-in-one set and give them that. I do not believe in, and I do not like all-in-one sets. It's very wasteful. It's pointless. It's just not a thing that I vibe with. And I believe there was also one. I think there might have been one on Sephora. I'm not sure. If there was, I will leave a little picture of it somewhere. Okay, this is another one that's kind of like, all right, so Becca, in an attempt to stay some sort of relevant and some sort of revolutionary, we're like, you know, what the people want, what the people need, what they've been asking for is another incarnation of the Becca Champagne Pop Highlighter Face Palette, which kind of no, we aren't. So they created this like subpar cardboard packaging overpriced palette, which admittedly looks very much like the original, if only because Becca knows how to make one kind of blush for their face palettes. You know, it just sits there laying in wait, and it's like, yes, this year they're gonna make a face holiday palette and I'm gonna get my dues. I was slightly tempted by it because y'all know I love buying a face palette that I'm not gonna use. I said no, and now it's on sale because it's just kind of like people are over, kind of the same way people are over the Too Faced Peach, Too Faced Chocolate Bar, Urban Decay Naked. You know, people are done and tired of the marketing of one product over a bunch of other products. So we're tired of Champagne Pop. They created that whole collection with the loose highlighter, the stick highlighter, the lip gloss. You know, it's done. We're tired. You know, just release another actual highlighter shade. We'll be happy about that. I mean, it's just gotten to the point where it's like a buzzword cash grab, because, you know, there are some people who are going to be die-hard Champagne Pop fans, some people, you know, whatever. So, ooh, we're going to have this. You know, the people who missed out on the first whatever Champagne Pop face palette, and it's like, well, this one will work out well. Well, apparently it didn't. Okay, these two ones are not holiday items, but it's kind of like, yeah. Well, I guess they are. Well, the Jouer Rose Cut Gems face and cheek and eye whatever palette. I bought it because I anti-hauled it, and then I bought it and I was like, this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. It wasn't. The blushes were just kind of pigmented. They were for a matte formula. I like a matte formula that's not flat. These were flat. They blended okay. They were just nothing super amazing. Definitely not like the blush formula y'all have been trying to get me on with Jouer. Those like blush duos and that other palette they released with the 6 whatevers. The highlighter, that was the final nail in the coffin. The highlighter was just this glittery, chunky, nasty mess. Now, I can get behind glitter in a highlighter. Y'all know this. But what I can't get behind is glitter in a highlight that's not suspended in a pigment that then is fitzing around in the atmosphere around my face. That is a no-no. And so for the blushes being kind of patchy, and for the whatever, you know, this definitely suffers from, we've got these units, it's a holiday release, we need to get rid of as many as we possibly can, so let's clearance this shiz out. Another thing, the PUR X Barbie collection. I talked about this in makeup I would have bought 5 years ago because your girl loves Barbie. I mean, not here, but I got a crap ton of Barbies in storage that y'all will eventually see. You know, the aesthetic and everything, and it was pink and glittery and all nicey nice, and I was like, you know, back in the day, I would have bought this for the packaging alone, for the collectorism in me. When in reality, I probably wouldn't have used none of that, and looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see why it's in the sale section now. Because once again, PUR, this is kind of like, I feel like a little bit the collaboration in and of itself was a little misbranded. Partly because PUR isn't known for being like out there, isn't known for being any kind of like, you know, intense. Like if Barbie had collaborated with Too Faced, yeah, I can see that. Or even Urban Decay or a myriad of other brands, I think it would have made more sense than PUR. PUR is much more subtle and a little bit more natural, you know, and this collection was a little bit more subtle and natural. But just the overall aesthetic was kind of a miss, and it's just, you know, people weren't buying it because people are sick and tired of all these friggity frackin' limited edition collections that include a palette, 5,000 lip glosses, and all these different kinds of things. We're done. We're tired. We are over the huge, ginormous collections. Another thing in the sale section, obviously, is the Moschino. I will never know how to pronounce that shiz. I'm sure someone will correct me down below. But the second run of the Moschino plus Sephora. Specifically, I didn't see the other things, but that eyeshadow, that $60 eyeshadow palette. I'm sorry, but when you an in-house brand and you like collaborate with an expensive whateverness and you get all bougie and you're pricing your stuff at $60, I mean, of course it's gonna need to go on sale, because I remember people hauling that thing and being like, it was $60, which is really expensive, and the shadows are only okay, but it was Sephora and Moschino, so I needed it. It's like, what? What? Why? You know, and you had the people who missed out on the first one. There's a little bit of me that's kind of like, I wish I'd bought that. The people who missed out on that one, and they're like, well, I need this one because this one's going to be gone too. No. It's not gone. It's still here. It's in the sale section. I would definitely think about going and looking at reviews before you purchase that, because I'm like, I'm sorry. When you price a palette at $60 and you're not, because the Sephora brand is supposed to be the affordable brand. So when you're the affordable Sephora brand that you then price your palettes at $60, I feel a little bit of side eye is merited. Then this one isn't something I feel like hideously like, it's on sale. That makes so much sense. But the Makeup Forever Let's Gold Eye Palette. Now, I feel like a lot of brands, like with the insurgence of affordable makeup, with the insurgence of new brands, indie makeup, a lot of the key players, like the brands that were the thing, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, are kind of starting to lose it. And this palette, you know, boring color story aside, I feel like Makeup Forever isn't really killing the eyeshadow game anymore. I don't know if they were killing it in the first place. I had a couple way back in the day that I decluttered, but you look at this and you're like, okay, it's just another tired, boring holiday release that nobody bought because it's overpriced. It isn't anything exciting. It's limited edition, so if we run out of it, although maybe we can repurchase it, because God only knows how long this one's gonna be in the sale section. We can't repurchase it if we run out of it. You know, there are all these different things that kind of make sense as to why some of this makeup has such a short lifetime in the, ooh, buy it now. Y'all, I have the ultimate vindication. I mean, when I saw this, I was just all kinds of, the vindication was so real. I just had to smirk a little bit and be like, I knew it. But the Too Faced Holiday Christmas Star palette. Y'all, since this thing was teased, since it was released, it and me did not get along. I was personally attacked, offended. This palette, and it just rubbed me the wrong kind of way. And so there it was, sitting in the sales section, being all kinds of sad and pitiful. Nobody bought me, so now they have to clearance me out. And I'm like, good. That's where you belong, in the sales section. You shouldn't have been created in the first place. I mean, seriously, people. It's this big, ginormous, subpar color theory packaging. Open it up, and there are the blushes and the whatever. I mean, it's not viable for the sense of, you know, just take that money and buy a permanent thing. Don't buy it because it's this little Too Faced Christmas star thing. And oh, their packaging is always so cute. Y'all, it's cute because they got subpar formulas up in that, so they got to make some kind of selling point. And this year, even cute packaging wasn't enough to save this travesty of a release. And then another vindication was the it brushes for Ulta, which was it's the Christmas star face brush. It's just like these gimmicky Christmas-based things. Now, I admit some of them, apparently, some of y'all said that one of them or some of them were for breast kit. That's great. That's fantastic. Although I feel like don't purchase a product to support something. Just take your money and donate it to the cause. You know, cut out the middleman. But the Christmas star brush. Just look, Mommy, I'm a Christmas star. No, you, honey, you look like a moron. It's just like some of these things that are made specifically for holiday and made to just sell because it's holiday and it's cute and it's consumeristic. It's just like, no wonder. And also, I'm not sure how practical. I know that It Cosmetics has that heart-shaped one that's apparently pretty good. A lot of people love it, but I'm not sure how viable and how practical a star-shaped brush is gonna be. You know, you feel me? You get what I mean? Then another anti-hauled holiday palette, the Lime Crime Winter Lights palette, which not only is it on sale at Ulta, I believe on Lime Crime, if you make an order of like 35 or something, they're like, we'll give it to you for free. I mean, obviously this was once again something that was not very thought out. They're just like, let's make it a triangle. It looks kind of like a Christmas tree. We'll throw some neutrals in there and a pop of red to make it like holiday-esque, and then we'll send it out. And it's just like, Lime Crime isn't even a brand that regularly does holiday. So it's like, what? Why are you trying to do it now? Because we're trying to bank on the consumer. We're trying to make that buck for the holidayness. And y'all, it does not seem to be working. I mean, it was just an awful, ugly mishmash. Too Faced Holiday Lime Crime has an okay eyeshadow formula. I love the original Venus XL. I had loved the original Venus, you know. But I feel like when doing these like limited edition little, whatever, get you whatever thingies, you know, they're not, once again, we're not focusing on eyeshadow formulation. We're focusing on cute and kitschy and holiday themed packaging. People buy it, they give it bad reviews. They don't buy it, people aren't buying it. You know, we got to clearance it out. This next thing is not a holiday release at all. This is something that I do take object with. But Wet n Wild, back in the day when they were a viable, trusted company, they started releasing those collection boxes. We had the mermaid one, we had the gothographic one, we had the Flights of Fancy, and they were seriously coveted when they first started coming out. And I think when they first started coming out, they were like 30 bucks. And then as Wet n Wild took a note from ColourPop and started releasing more and more collections, yes, they came out with maybe more product in the collections, but the price of the boxes began to escalate until we had the Pacman collection, which I admit came with a fair amount of stuff, but they were charging $70. Do y'all know how much makeup you can buy with $70? Y'all know how much good makeup you can buy with $70? I mean, this wasn't holiday, but this was definitely a gimmick of like, look, this collector's box. They weren't selling it on the makeup. They were selling it on the collectability, on the people who love the sets. You got the Pac-Man going on and everything like that. But $70, y'all. And now it's on sale for $42. And I'm like, if it had come out at $42 or even $50, well, $50 is still a lot of money. I was just like, $70? I mean, come on, Wet n Wild. You drugstore. You affordable. I mean, maybe it's amazing. I've heard a lot of good things about a bunch of the different products. I didn't buy it because Wet n Wild is still kind of right now. But if this is something you wanted but weren't willing to shell out that $70, you can have it for $42 now. $70, my butt just, not, I mean, who's coming up with these, who's coming up with $70 for this Pacman set, or this Tarte palette's worth $128 originally, but we, out of the kindness of our heart, are gonna give it to you for $42 because that makes sense. Okay, then we're gonna end. This is not a holiday thing, it's just kind of one of those things where you're like, yeah, I could see that being on clearance. This is the Tarte plus Adeline Morin palette. I anti-hauled this back when it like came out, which was a while ago. And I had said, I was like, you look at it and you're like, oh, look at that pretty color there. It does, this palette is a palette that does that pop effect really, really well. And you look at it and you're like, wow, it's so pretty. But if you take away that pop effect, you're like, well, it's a Tarte palette. I didn't buy it because I wasn't suckered in by that whole, you know, pop effect going on. I knew it wasn't going to get a lot of use in my collection. I have reached neutrals that I like and I love. I probably don't ever need to invest in anymore. And so this wasn't one of those like, oh, I'm so happy to see you in the sales section. It's more just like a, yeah, I can understand why that's in there, because it was kind of like a random release. I mean, Tarte loves collaborating with random people, like, you know, that whole Lily Pons thing. It's just like, why? What who on the marketing and PR team said, you know what, Tarte, the person we need to collaborate is Lily Pons? And they're just like, okay. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. But there we have that installment of roasting the sale section. It's always so interesting to see what's in the sale section, you know, because like I keep saying, you know, makeup doesn't go on sale because it's a luxury item. There has to be some kind of like, you know, the Sephora 20% off, the Ulta drugstore makeup goes on sale. You know, you can get all kinds of coupons for that, but prestige, high-end luxury makeup, that shiz don't go on sale unless it's awful. Or your brand might be getting cleared out of Sephora, although she is coming out with blushes and I kind of really want those. No tea, no shade. Obviously, I would love to know what y'all feel about the products I talked about, whether you're like, yes, that totally needs to be in the sale section, or it's something that you absolutely love. I mean, we all have different expectations and interests. I say this every blinking video. Everybody had different opinions. None of us need to get butthurt at anybody. So definitely do that down below. Let's start a discussion about all the different makeup in the sales section. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. And as always, keep it real. Mwah!